Good morning to you. This is Cami. How are you doing? Today, I'm going to be talking about banishing boring content. And guess what? This is a thing that I think a lot of us worry about. Like, we don't have good enough content. We aren't that interesting. Like, who would care about what we have to say? Who would care about what we have to do? And that is what I'm going to talk about today. So, I'm going to talk to you about how to fix this in about 3 easy steps, and it's going to be different than you think. It's going to be something surprising and something different than you think. I think a lot of us have ideas of what that would look like, but I've got some other ideas for you. So let me show you what I got going. So, first of all, if you're going to banish boring content, this is probably the most important thing of all. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's just not about you. So that's the bottom line about banishing boring content. It's really all about your audience, the people who care about what you do. And you have to really get in their head. You have to really understand the people that you're trying to reach. And again, it can be dancing, it can be doing funny things, it can be being entertaining, it can be educational, it can be anything you want. But it has to actually be relevant to the people that you're trying to reach. That's the bottom line. Those little inside jokes, those little bit of understandings about who you are, about the struggles that you have, that is what causes the difference. So that's number one. It's not about you. It's just not about you. And so you need to be a student of your audience, or the student of the people that you're trying to reach. You have to spend a lot of time with them, like real time, like where you actually talk to them and you ask them and you hear what they have to say. You have to spend a lot more time than we do. We tend to just want to learn about our, come up with the branding for our company or the branding for our product and the branding for our services, and then put the branding all together and start talking about it, and really hope people will actually take us up on those offers. And that's really the problem. The problem is then you sound like an announcer. You sound kind of, one removed from the people. You want to be talking to people in a way that they hear themselves. They hear themselves talking. And I know for a fact that a lot of people, especially in the B2B space specifically, they think, it's not that exciting. My business is not that exciting. Um, Back in the day, there was a blender company called Will It Blend, and they put it to the test. And they were like a blending company. They would sell blenders to restaurants, and they were industrial blenders, I guess you could say. And they opened up a little bit of a market for direct to consumer, but they still were really trying to get restaurants to buy it. And they would just take different items, like they would take your phone and they would say, does this phone blend? And they put it in the blender. Really, really, really interesting content. But you would have never thought a blender would have any kind of like great content, right? You'd be like, oh gosh, no, I mean, how can you do it? So that brings me to my second noun. So turning your content upside down, I'll explain exactly what I mean by that. I was trying to get the slide to play. I'll explain what I mean by that, but you want to turn your content upside down so that people can start to see it in a different way. So you don't want to necessarily always do the same thing that you've ever done before, just coming straight at people. You want to turn your content upside down. So you want to think about ways to talk about it that's different, that's like a little bit off center, that's upside down, so that people can start to see how they can use it. And that really is critical, to think about things in a way that's non-Googleable. Meaning, today I can create content all day long for as much as I want on ChatGPT, on all kinds of. I have Midjourney, I have ChatGPT, I have Gemini. Now Microsoft has come in with Copilot. So I'm just saying, there's a million ways to make content, but right now, to make it stand out, and really ever, like, let's just talk about ever, to make content stand out, it has to be kind of counter to what people think they're going to see. If it's just the same old thing, you just kind of tune out, you start doing your computer, it's fine. But if you want to turn something upside down, how do you do that? Like, so what is the spark? And the only way to do that is my third point, which is what I call to slow down. So slowing down is really, really important. For I almost feel like sometimes less is more. So we want to take that time to slow down the roll and think about what it is we want to say to people. And by the way, part of that slowing down is exactly what I talked about just a second ago, which is meeting with the people that you're trying to influence or get them to buy something or whatever you're trying to get them to do, and really understand what their needs are and how what you have connects to that. And I've been talking about this literally since I started blogging in 2005. So this is literally nothing new, but also something new. Everything has to feel new again. I really love this quote that I found from Carl Honore. He is the author of The Power of Slow. And I love this quote because he really talks about what I'm saying. And that is this: your best ideas, those eureka moments that turn the world upside down, seldom come when you're juggling emails, rushing to meet the 5 p.m. deadline, or straining to make your voice heard in a high stress meeting. They come when you're walking the dog, soaking in the bath, or swinging in a hammock. Honestly, that's so true. I remember I used to get a lot of my biggest ideas in the shower, like when I was taking a shower and it was quiet. And I started listening to podcasts, and I have a JVB speaker, and I would listen while I was doing other things. And I started multitasking. And you know what? Those ideas don't come whenever you're not doing that. So I stopped doing that. I stopped listening in the shower. Now I take all my showers in silence so that these eureka moments can come to me. Where is it that you actually get your eureka moments? I would love to know. I'd love to know when you get those ideas. Yeah. So thanks, Bart. Yeah, I agree completely too. So slowing down is really important, and that could even be slowing down the cadence of your content. So I talked to my team the other day, and we may be actually moving this live stream to be every 2 weeks instead of every week. I've got to get next week, which is very exciting. So I'm going to definitely do it next week. But we started to think about how can we like stretch this out a little bit more, and then use the content that we make during this live stream in different ways, coming up with ideas for using it. Like we have a blog post we put out. So I want more time. I just want more time to settle into the ideas. And that way we can have better ideas and more marination of those ideas. So that could be another thing you think about, is slowing down the cadence, but also just slowing down in general over what you're trying to accomplish, because you can't come up with really deep and cool ideas that aren't just a list of everything that somebody else has already heard, unless you take that time to slow down and put it together. So that's kind of really cool. I love that. And so I asked you, I actually put out a poll yesterday. Yeah. To find out just what people thought were, I asked you, and this was the results. So, given more time, I would have maybe ran this last week. See, if I'd done this every 2 weeks, I could have run the poll last week and done this anyway. You see what I'm saying? Slowing down is really important. And I'll slow down talking too, because I do that. I talk too fast. So boring content. It's the bane of social media platforms like LinkedIn. But what type of content really makes you feel bored? Feel free to add more in the comments. So I came up with 4 that I sometimes find boring on different points. One is webinar recordings, 2 e-newsletters, 3 video tutorials. Those could be good or bad. Like again, all of these can be good or bad depending on that upside down idea, right? And then blog posts was the last one on there, which I was really happy to see that people still are not super bored by blog posts yet, because I love to blog and I love to have a blog. And I also loved what Marilyn Barber said, that she talks about these templates, stock photos on templates. And by the way, with the new AI programs like Midjourney and Dolly and those, you see all these like fake people that you can kind of tell they're fake, but they also look real. And it's starting to look very plastic. I feel like our environment has gotten so plastic. And so again, the actual tool called webinar recording is not bad in and of itself. But the problem with the webinar recording is that they all are the same, because somebody's put templates out there. Somebody's taught people how to do webinar recordings, right? And so now everybody does it the same. They start with, the reasons why, and then they agitate fear about what you're going to miss out on if you don't do this. And then they go, what? I mean, I've looked at all these templates and I resist them, because I would rather just talk to you. I'd rather just connect with you. That's what I'd rather do. I am not going to be the funny dancer. I've done a few on TikTok. I enjoy having fun too. having fun is great, and I think you should have fun with your audience. But some of us are just not super fun. Like I'm not a big dancer. I can't do that as well. But then, I have a guest that's coming in a couple of months. I'll keep it a secret for now, but she's coming in a couple of months, and she does all of her talks and all of her content while walking on the treadmill. And she's just doing business conversations about marketing. So you never know what works for you. Maybe while you're walking your dog. I know that Madeline Scalar used to do that. She'd walk her dog and talk and do her live streams, and people loved that for a bit. So, what can you do to like turn it upside down to shake it up a little bit? So, again, those 3 points that I made to you are really important. And if you haven't been here since the beginning, that's fine. But number one was it's not about you. Down, shake it up, try to come up with some content that isn't seen by everybody. It isn't part of the formula, right? And, and then Brittany, thank you, Anne. You put her name out. So yeah, it is Brittany. So yeah, it is Brittany. So, and she's coming. She's going to be coming and talking to us at Social Media Breakfast soon. And then the third one is slow down. Slow down, meaning slow down your brain, slow down the content if you need to. Give yourself permission to slow down because it's okay, Anne. I was joking. I was making it a big secret and reveal. I love Brittany too. And I will actually grab her stuff before we're done here and share it. Or maybe if you could share on your like her name, I should have pulled that up. So I could share it. So anyway, yes, I would just say that, you just, and what's great about Brittany, okay, I'm going to talk about Brittany now that we're talking about her. It's that it's a pattern interrupt. So, there's a pattern that we're used to in content. It does a certain thing, it goes a certain way. And then how can you interrupt that pattern? That's the question. Like, how do you interrupt that pattern in your own content? So you have to think about that. And, the only way to do that is to give yourself time to think about that, to think about what you're going to do, to think about how you're going to do it. And I feel like that's something that we don't do enough of. We're just so busy. We're running from thing to thing to thing. And we are not, giving ourselves that time to marinate the ideas and to put them together and like to figure out how it goes. So again, slowing down is important because I feel like I heard Gary Vee the other day say the way to win on Instagram and on all these platforms is just to put more content, like more and more and more and more and more, and like dominate the airwaves. Yeah, that's what he said. And maybe it's true. I don't know. I mean, the algorithms are weird. I know here on LinkedIn, it's not true. If you're watching on LinkedIn, on Facebook, it's really hard right now to even have any page, have any kind of thing without an ad. So right now on Facebook, you kind of have to do ads in order to make it work. Here on LinkedIn, it's like a once a day kind of thing. You have one time per day to make your impact, and people hopefully will comment and hopefully will like your comments. And by the way, comments are everything. Like, so please comment on this live stream. It would be great to hear how you think about what's going on here. But so yeah, I would just say, here on LinkedIn, that's really important. Like your comments feed the algorithm on LinkedIn. On YouTube, it's more about the number of views and the likes and comments. It's sort of an alchemy of things. And over there, it really matters if you like something. Things will grow with more views. And YouTube has a sort of bucket system where, they'll show it to a certain number of people, and then watch them, they'll show it to this newer bucket of people. And then if more watch them, they'll show it. And then, it goes up in the rankings in YouTube. And that is how that one works. With TikTok, it's really about the audience around that thing. So it's trying to create communities, I guess, of like-minded people. So your kind of TikTok experience is going to be very different than your kids' TikTok experience, and so on. They'll say, "Oh, Mom, haven't you seen XYZ?" And I'm like, "No, I mean, they don't show that to me." So that's really important to look at. So you have to understand the platform as well. But I don't care about the platform. In the end of the day, all people are looking for is something that they can relate to one way or another. I mean, you see something and you think, yes, that's me. And I do it all the time. Like there's really great content out there that I watch it and I think, oh, somebody made that for me today. I needed that. It can be lightweight. It doesn't have to be business necessarily, but at the end of the day, I will also connect into the business stuff. I like the really long, hour-long um, podcasts and things. I listen to them all the time. So that's cool for me. I love that. But some people are like, I want to get it and I want to get out. In, out, get it, and forget it. Okay, Anne, thank you so much. So this is Brittany's Instagram. If you want to go check her out and see what I mean about somebody walking on a treadmill and talking about business. Again, pattern interrupt. This is a pattern interrupt. And what is your pattern interrupt? So don't go walk on a treadmill. Brittany does that. So what would it be for you? What could that be? I sit here in my cute little office and I love it. But should I be doing something different? Should I be doing something that interrupts the pattern? That's a really good question. Live streams are easier here for me. So if I'm doing live streams, I'm doing them here. But I did like a video and then, sent it out. Maybe I would do pattern interrupts. So one of the easiest ways is doing things in chunks. So one piece at a time. So I had 3 points, I could actually talk about those 3 points in different shots and then put them together. There's some great tools for that, for sure, out there. And, it's easy to do these days as far as that goes. So I can give you guys some ideas. I'm off the top of my head, I'm trying to think about what we're using right now, but we're using different ones. And so I know that we're using opus.pro, opus.pro for these live streams. We'll pull them in and we'll turn them into little clips. So that's really cool. That's one way to reuse your content. Another way is I'm trying to think about the one the one that's really popular with TikTok. I'll pull it up for you guys. Sorry. It's like me thinking through this. I should have it right in my head, but I don't. Anyway, so CapCut, it's my first app right there. So it's CapCut. So these are all my video apps. You could take a screenshot of that if you want to. These are some of the video apps I use. The DU recorder there, I love that because I can do recordings of my screen on my phone, and that's been really helpful. InShot is amazing. Splice kind of helps you put things together in quick things. And I use Filmora for longer pieces because I pay for that one. And Power Director is also a cheaper one. You can do the similar thing. I think you have to pay for it to get the most functionality. Anyway, those are a couple of things. And Video Leap is sort of a new AI tool. I haven't used it as much, but I'm playing around with it right now. So those are some of the apps that I use on my phone. And I'm not sure what you use on yours, but if you could share them with others in the chat, that would be great. Like if you have a tool that you love, let us know. But repurposing is also a great way to get some pattern interrupts. I do think over time, right now, Opus is great, but we're starting to see a lot of these videos with this text coming across. And I'd say, in a year or so, it might be overused. I'm just saying, we have to think about how can we renew? How can we renew the content so that it catches people's attention? Well, we have to do different kinds of things to get them into that. And right now, I think that's a good pattern interrupt. It's got those nice big text across it, and you can kind of do these cuts. So I love that, and I'm using it for sure. I'm using it daily. But that's the bottom line. So I don't know about what you guys think, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. And as usual, I ended with tools. That's me. That's how I go, how I roll. And if you have any kind of content you think is boring, let me know. And let me know in the comments too, if there's anybody that you love watching, like if there is a creator that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm here for it. Every time they put something out, it's amazing. Let's share together in the comments so we can learn from each other. And since it is streamed across multiple platforms, I don't know where you're watching this, I will gather them all up and share them back out. Let me know what you guys love, and I will continue to do that. Anyway, that's it for today. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I am all in the comments. Let me know what you're doing. And I hope that you have a great day. And okay, Anne says one more thing. Let me give her a minute. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think of captions on Opus as a disruptive attention getter. I'm thinking of people who watch videos without the sound on, and also for accessibility. Yes, that is absolutely also true. I think about that too. But it is an attention getter because it's a movement. Because here's the problem with even what I'm doing right now. The problem with this is that it's just me sitting here talking to you. I'm not really moving around. I move my hands a lot. but I'm moving it around a lot. That's why I like to throw a slide in here and there just to kind of give a pattern interrupt during a live stream. Um, some people have amazing little trailers. By the way, I'm just going to say this, those little trailers at the beginning of videos, um, they're a little tough because they could lose your audience or they could grab your audience. So if it's the same one over and over and over again, I'm not so sure. But what I've been noticing about some of the YouTubers is that they do an interview and then they take like the opus clip moments. I'm going to call them that, the opus clip moments, and they put them right at the front. And then some of them stop them right before they answer the question. And then you're like, oh, what is that question? So, it's like a shave and a haircut, 2 bits. Somebody wants to hear the resolution. So we call that opening the loop and closing the loop. So like opening it and closing it inside of your content. So promising something, telling people what they're going to get, and then making them wait a little bit, but not too long for that prize. Now, I do think that some people overuse that a little bit, especially in the webinar industry. That's why they try to get you to go take that webinar and listen to that webinar. Like, you can lose all this weight, but you have to do this one thing, this one little trick before you go to bed. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard this one little trick before you go to bed in different types of webinar kind of funnels. I think it's overused. It needs to go. So now what's next? So I don't listen to those anymore. Like I kind of got caught in them early, but then I stopped because I'm like, I know what it's going to be. It's going to either be a supplement or it's going to be the same thing, right? So again, like everything has to be renewed. You have to think about how you're trying to get people into what you're trying to do. And in the end, let's go back to rule number 1. It's not about you. It's really about meeting the needs of the people that you're trying to serve. It is in the end, guys, it's in the end all about service. It's about service to your customer. That is what it's about. The second it becomes about you and what you need and how you want to do it, there's so much baggage with that. Number one, people are going to see right through that. Number two, when it becomes about you, people are going to feel like you're trying to get them to do something. And I don't know about you, but for me, when you try to get me to do something, I'll probably not, I'll do the opposite. I'm oppositional. You try to get me to do something, I'm going to do the opposite. Ask my mother, she may be here. If you try to get me to do something, I will do absolutely the opposite of what you try to get me to do every time. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I am. And most people are. They don't like to be manipulated. Like, you don't like to feel manipulated, and neither does your customer. Your customer do not like to feel manipulated. If you're there in service to them, they'll get it. They'll understand that's what you're there for. If they choose not to take you up on your offer, then you need to add more value over time, and then they may choose to take you up on your offer later. So I don't like a lot of pressure, and I know there's a lot of money in like pushing people to the edge so that they buy something, kind of out of reflex or fear or whatever. But I don't like to do that. I don't. I would rather not have the money in the end of the day. I'd rather have that happen in a more organic, natural way. So I will let people know what they are. I will hold up a mirror. I like talking. I have my mirror here. I will hold up a mirror to you. Oh, hey, look, you can see my camera. I will hold up a mirror to you so that you can see yourself. That's because that's what I do. I'm a coach, and I'm also a social media marketing agency. So we help our clients to find their audiences and to win them over. And that's really part of it, is that customer service part. And I prefer to be in that space. There's some people that love that heavy direct marketing kind of. I'm not your gal. I'm just not your gal. So if you want to learn those things, please, go somewhere else and do that. But this is what I teach. I teach service and putting that together. And I hope that that is something that you love. And if you do, make sure you subscribe if you're anywhere that you're not subscribed yet, or follow me or connect with me. I would love to connect with people and get to know you better. And that's it. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. I hope you have a fantastic day. And, slow down a little. Slow down and think. Think about what you All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.